So I'm here with Marcella, and I wanted to have her share a little bit about her experiences using essential oils for relief from seasonal issues.
Mhm.
So she's tell me how long have you been trying out using these particular oils?
I faithfully started using them consistently on February 1st.
Mhm.
And
So how long did it take before you started to see some effects?
I pretty much saw effects immediately. I would see relief as soon as I had any itchiness in my eyes or any scratchiness in my throat. I would put some of the oils on, and I'd say within minutes, I was feeling relief.
Wow.
Mhm.
And now, had you previously been using pharmaceuticals to control that?
Yes. I would use all kinds of, I guess, over the counter things to try to control the runny nose, the congestion where I couldn't breathe, the itchy eyes, even the scratchy throat, all of that I would need something for. And a lot of that stuff would make me really sleepy. I would feel like a zombie all the time. And if you ask my husband, that's his big joke, that I looked like a zombie all the time. So I don't have those side effects with these, which is really awesome.
Nice. So walk me through, what exactly do you use?
Okay, so I use a mix of peppermint, lavender, and lemon. I use those in a little roller bottle, and I carry this with me everywhere. It pretty much doesn't leave my side. And when I started using it, whether I was symptom free or I had symptoms, I just started on February 1st, and I would use it at least twice a day. So once in the morning and once at night, and I try at those times at least to put them on my toes. I feel like that's your in reflexology, it's your sinus connections on your toes. So I would put it on my toes, and then I carry it with me. And whenever I feel anything, I'll put some on my wrists or I'll put some on my temples. If it's really, really bad, I might put some right over here so I could smell it. But usually the wrist is enough. And so that's that.
And that's just how many drops of lavender and lemon and peppermint?
Mine was actually kind of very diluted. It's 3 to 4 drops of each
Wow.
in a 5 milliliter bottle, and then topped off with freshly made coconut oil.
Wow.
My
That's very cheap
Yes,
to make just a couple of drops.
just pennies. My husband, whose symptoms are a little stronger, I do 8 drops of each. So he gets a little bit more, but still pennies compared to other stuff.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you use, like for a specific, issue, say congestion or something like that?
Yes. So this was what I was using, the little roller, for when the symptoms weren't terrible. So at the beginning, this is what I started with. As the season got worse and my symptoms got worse, so usually I get congested and I can't breathe, and my nose, everything in there gets all swollen, and I need to get it unswollen. So I would use Breathe, which is a favorite. When things are really bad, I would use it full strength. So I would just put a couple of drops in my palms and rub them together, and then just breathe in, and everything would open up. As things have lessened now, and the season isn't so bad, I've diluted it. So I carry a little roller, which is also now never leaves my side. If I was really congested and the breathe wasn't quite enough, I would use this fun little blend of Copaiba and Deep Blue in a roller, diluted, and I would put that along my nose, and I would feel the swelling go down. And so it was a great kind of just to help open everything up and let me breathe some more. So those are those 2 things for congestion. I did also use, if things weren't moving, and so I was open, but I still felt like there was stuff stuck in there, I would go ahead and use Digeszyme, which the way it was described to me was it gets stuff to move that should be moving that isn't, or it gets stuff to stop moving that's moving that shouldn't be. So I figured with the mucus all stuck in there that needed to move, the Digeszyme seemed the obvious choice. So I would use this diluted, probably the best way to use it, on the bridge of my nose and a little bit up here wherever sinuses are, and that seemed to get everything moving.
Wow, that's awesome. And so you've had a lot of success just within the past like month or two.
Yes.
And anyone else that you've been able to help during that time?
Yes. So I have a friend who she went to a Bible study with me and came in sneezing and scratchy eyed. And I said, "Hey, I have this really cool little thing. You want to give it a try?" And she rolled some on her wrist. So I let her use my little bottle and she rolled it right on her wrist right there. And by the end of the class, I said, "Hey, how are you feeling?" And she's like, "I want some of that." What's that? Because it made me feel really good. So I ended up sharing a little roller bottle with her. And so she's had great success with that, along with the breathe. So like every time I'd see her, I'd be like, "How are you feeling? What's going on?" And so she would carry her little roller, and if she couldn't breathe, I would give her some breathe, and it would open her up right away, as well as now my husband. So he used to be on all kinds of stuff, and to help him breathe and to help with his allergies. So he is using the roller now, the same lemon peppermint lavender. He uses it before his walks in the morning, and he said he sees relief from his itchy, runny eyes, and he's carrying that around. We were on a vacation. His nose got stuffy, and I said, "Well, you want some breathe?" And he said, "Sure." And so he tried it, and about an hour or so later, he said he was feeling better and he wanted a little bit more. So he's had success as well.
Now, often we hear that it's not super easy to get guys on board with essential oils. What was that journey like for you?
So he actually started with Copaiba and Deep Blue. He has a lot of back issues, my husband, and he's had surgery. And so that was actually the first roller I made, was for him the first roller I made for him was the Copaiba and Deep Blue, so that we could use it on his back. And he felt relief. And so he actually reaches for it at night, and he puts it on the bottoms of his feet at night, and he puts it on in the morning before he goes on his walk. And he says that he feels like he can get out of bed better and a little bit easier. And he just like feels like he can move more easily.
Yeah.
So that's kind of was his entry. And since then, I've gotten him on the allergy medicine roller, and he's also taking the gel caps I made for him that also help to do. That was my last actual step to kind of, when it got at the very height, we started taking gel caps with the lemon, peppermint, and lavender in it, and some other things.
How many drops of each do you put into those empty veggie caps?
I do 2 of each, lemon, peppermint, lavender, and then we also put some sun and sassy in there, a couple of drops of that, and we do a drop of frankincense and a drop of copaiba.
Oh, lovely. That's a great mix.
So all of that, just figure anything that sounds like it's good.
Yeah,
but the main
absolutely.
thing is the lemon, peppermint, lavender. So he started to use that as well.
Mhm.
So he's getting in there, and
Awesome.
he recognizes it. If I'm talking to someone and he's standing next to me, he'll be the first one to say, "It really works. You know, she used to be a zombie. It really works."
That's great.
So, yeah.
That's really, really great.
Mhm.
So, if someone doesn't have access to a high quality oil like doTERRA, what should they do to get started to get some of these into their home?
Well, they should talk to a consultant. They should talk to you or to me. They should definitely sign up. I mean, the best way to do to get your oils would be to have a wholesale club membership and get it at 25% off. Why not? Why would you waste your money otherwise?
Indeed, indeed.
But if they want, or if they're curious, going to the doTERRA website would be a great place to just go, and there's tons of information. The company is super transparent, so there's everything you want to know is on there.
Yeah, awesome. What would you say would be like the top, say, 2 or 3 reasons to have somebody switch to using something natural instead of some of the other alternatives that are more common these days?
For sure, I would say side effects is the one thing. For me, I think I said it to you when I started. If I could get my allergies under control, that would be huge. The stuff I would take would put me to sleep.
Yeah.
And I would sleep 12 to 14 hours a day. I would be exhausted all day. I couldn't sit to watch TV because I'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
From the side effects. So
side effects worse than the actual problem itself. Yeah. Oh,
so now, and to try to use anything that didn't make me feel that bad, then it didn't really relieve all my symptoms. So I still had symptoms. So I have really been symptom free. So I think they're just so much more effective with so much, like with no side effects, pretty much. that would be the main thing. I for sure. And then cost. I think cost, you're talking pennies
Mhm,
per
mhm,
drop versus whatever it might cost to get other stuff.
mhm, mhm. Awesome. All right, so lots of reasons if you guys struggle with that. I hope you'll take this into consideration to reach out to me. This is you can email enamoredwithnature@gmail.com or
Marcella's jams at gmail.com. Make sure you get the S after Marcella.
all right. So, yes, we do look forward to being able to help you through some of these struggles, especially knowing how much things have changed in our particular lives. We, both of us are very, very willing to work with someone to coach you through how to get what works for you. Okay, and also you can look for more info at a public Facebook page that's called Enamored with Nature Oil Education. And if you just type that into the search bar, it'll bring up and you can get connected to us that way. All right, we'll talk with you guys soon. Bye.